Hi, everybody. Welcome back and happy Friday. Oh, thank God. Thank God it's Friday. I don't know what that means for you guys. It really means nothing for me because it's not like I take a day off anyways, but just the fact that it's Friday, no, it actually feels pretty good. So, guys, we're back to do hot, messy topics. If you're in the live chat, hello, let us know where you're watching from. And if you're part of the replay crew, then don't forget to hit that like button and also get subscribed over here to Up and Adam Channel 1. We have one of our favorite guests, So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey, which is actually pretty exciting because Ryan and I have met a few times. We've met at BravoCon. He came to one of the live shows. We've seen each other, and I've always been like, man, I just want to hang out with this guy. And now he's coming to Charleston at the end of the month, and he's actually staying at my house. So this is going to be really fun because now I get to hang out with him, and it's not in such a professional setting, which is it ever really professional in these Bravo settings? I don't know. But anyways, let's welcome So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey.
Hey, happy Friday. You actually just informed me it was Friday. I had no clue. I was like, did we made it to the end of the week? This is amazing.
It doesn't mean anything to us. That's what I'm saying.
I know. Well, I was like, today I have like a bunch of things and I have to recap OC later tonight, which I know will take me until 10 p.m. So it's just like another working day. And then tomorrow's the same way, but this isn't really work. It's amazing, but it is funny. It's not like a normal weekend.
And I asked Ryan right before coming on because I like to know, do people have a hard out? Like, is there a time that you have to get off? And he's like, no, I have about 2 hours. And I was like, oh, no, not 2 hours. We don't do that. But Ryan does.
Yeah, my podcasts are way too long, but you get into it and then you want to dissect like every moment of like a Salt Lake City episode or OC. Like I already know there's 30 things I want to talk about with the OC episode because I thought last night was really just this very interesting episode. And I went to Shannon and Vicky's live show last night in Irvine. And I got my Kodo insurance hat on that I got gifted last night, but it was insane.
So we have to talk about that. We have so much OC and also with the show and the Joel Kim booster of it all. We have a lot to talk about. Jessica Trapp said, please do a live when he's there. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're going to be here at least like 5-6 days, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because I have to go to a wedding, one of my co-hosts on the pod, but then I also want to see Charleston. I want to see the haunts of Southern charm.
Oh God. Just don't go. And even if you do, don't take a photo on it. Everybody gets shit for going around those little carriage rides with the horses. I've never been on one. Just saying. But unless you want PETA knocking on your door, stay away.
Wait, don't take a picture of horses? Is that what you just said?
No, don't go on the carriage ride with the horses.
Oh, I wasn't. I don't think I was planning on that. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Then you're good, Ryan. You're good. All right, guys. We have so many things to talk about. Let's start with last night, Ryan, for you. By the way, I miss you, man.
Yeah, I miss you. It's so great to be back here. I haven't been on here in a minute, so I'm really happy to be here.
You're doing so many things too, especially like with Jeff Lewis, and you're a busy guy. You're still with Betches?
Yeah, still with Betches. I've been really lucky, but like, it's like, it's the hardest I've ever worked in my life. But, like it's all stuff that I want to be doing and people I want to be talking to and shows that I want to be watching. But I was telling my therapist, which, now I have a therapist, is that I was like, I feel like this is the first week where I'm like, I've watched too much TV. Like I watched like 7 episodes of Love is Blind, watched all the Bravo shows. Potomac comes back on Sunday. New York came back this week. And I was watching that Menendez Brothers show. And I just finally felt like I need to get outside. I need to touch grass.
You're like, and so of course that means he's going to go to Alfred's off of Melrose Place and get a coffee because that's like the bougie LA thing to do. Okay.
I don't leave this room, by the way. I barely leave this room. This is like my big podcaster butt is like just glued to this chair.
It's, you know what? That's okay. Because you're working. You're working. But Vicky Harnish. Did Vicky tap you for a policy, Ryan?
No, but at the end of the show, she does put up a Kodo Insurance big video, like a big video with a QR code. So if anybody does want Kodo Insurance, you can get it. She does do a plug for Kodo Insurance at the end of the show as part of the show, which is kind of a chef's kiss. Like, I love hearing Vicky talk about Kodo Insurance because it's very iconic just through the show. But it's like truly, you can tell why she's successful at insurance. She's always selling.
Yeah, she's always selling. So what was your biggest takeaway? What was like the most surprising thing last night? I have a feeling I know, and I would think that it would be the Joel Kim booster of it all, but maybe it's not. I've never been
Well,
to a
there's a
Vicky and Shannon show.
couple surprising things. Gretchen, Gretchen and Slade were there as surprise guests. And Gretchen came on stage for the Q&A. I asked if she was going to come back to OC next season. She said, "Oh, if they pay me a lot of money." And I was like, "That's the wrong answer. You should just say, yeah, if they'll take me, I'll come back. If they, because it seems like she wants to." Shannon made her first comments, I think, about the Joel Kim booster stuff, which I threw up on my Instagram last night. But basically, she said, "It's weird. Like, I thought we got along. He actually came up to me at one point crying to like happy tears to me. I thought I was being kind. But she started tearing up when she said he went after my daughters. He said John Jansen, how horrible he must have had it." So she was kind of thrown off. But two of the older men from Love Hotel were in the audience. They were in the audience, and they're good looking dudes. The producer of OC and Love Hotel were in the audience.
Was that
And I
James?
don't, yeah, it was, I believe. Yeah, because they kept saying Jay. So they were there, and I don't know if they were there just to make sure they didn't say anything crazy because they're filming the OC reunion on Sunday. The other surprise was I thought the audience would like pepper more like John Jansen, Alexis questions because you could ask anything, but nobody really did. Everybody stayed away from the John Jansen of it all, barring a couple of moments that were like comedy. You can tell the Tamra stuff. Vicky was going after Tamra more than Shannon was. But it was like silly fun. Like it was, I mean, it's a mess in the best way. Like, it's like watching these characters that you watch on a TV show come to life and talk about some of their most insane moments. Shannon looked like amazing. She looked great. Shannon's dad, 95 years old, was in the audience. That was fun, but there was nothing like, besides the Joel Kim booster stuff, there was nothing like, oh my God, tea is being fully spilled. Oh, there was one thing Vicky said. Remember that season when they went to like, what was it, Iceland, and she had to be taken out on a stretcher and they threw a white sheet over her? She said the reason is because, well, she said, there's, it's like daylight all the time. So I didn't know if it was the morning or the evening. So it was the morning, but I guess me and Kelly went out and we went and did all this stuff. And I was like a complete mess. And then I found out we had to film in 5 minutes. So Kelly gave me 2 pills and I was like, "What are these?" And she didn't tell me. She just said, "Take them." And then Vicky was like, and I took them and I felt like I was having a heart attack. And so they had to she had a full breakdown from whatever Kelly Dodd gave her allegedly. And the producer at the last minute did her a favor and threw a towel over her so the cameras would not see what like a mess she was on her face, because I guess somebody threw a glass of water on her face to like snap her out of it. I don't know how these ladies actually live their day to day. It's insane.
I was on the phone a couple nights ago with a friend with one of the Real Housewives, and I think it was like on Tuesday or something like that. And she was totally inebriated. Like she was feeling good when we were talking. And my friend asked me, "How do these housewives do it? Like, how do they get so wasted and then survive?" And I said, "I'm pretty fucking sure. I think there has to be like a little man hiding in the closet with a little IB drip, and they're just waiting to attack them in the morning. And it's like, okay, it's 8:00. Like, come on, sir."
Well, I think
and he like
I
comes
mean,
out and kicks them.
the Southern Charm cast, the Vanderpump Rules cast, I know they're younger, so that's easier for them. But as you get older, you're like, I mean, I didn't even drink last night. Like, you can't do it. If you want to like actually do things, you have to start somewhat taking care of yourself. And I just don't know, especially when you whoop it up. But I will say also, Shannon and Vicky did not look like they were inebriated at all. They weren't drinking on stage. So if that was a question anybody had, Shannon did talk about, the DUI. There were a couple of jokes because they did like this buzzer thing of like you had to blow into something for a prize. And then Doug Buden, the MC, was like, "Yeah, just imitate Shannon how she starts her car because she has to blow into that thing to start it." For
Yeah.
the DUI. Yeah.
Have you ever had to do that?
Never. No.
Okay, so I have a funny story. I actually took a road trip with somebody, and Jason was in our car, and I was with our friend. I didn't know that our friend had a breathalyzer in their car. We drove from New York to Los Angeles. Every 15 minutes, you have to blow in the breathalyzer. So when I was, and you can switch out the top so you're not blowing the breathalyzer with somebody else. And there's a camera in the dash so it sees you. So they make sure that you're not like handing it over like 40-year-old virgin or whatever and like handing it to somebody else to blow into it so you can drive. And so every 15 minutes you're blowing into it, but you have to do like a gentle hum. And it does it while you're driving down the road.
But
And
isn't that dangerous? Isn't that
it's
like super
so
dangerous
dangerous.
to do?
I thought so. And if you hum into it and it doesn't catch on, a timer comes up on the screen or on the whatever, and it does a 30-second countdown where it shuts down your car. So you have 30 seconds to pull off of the side of the
Oh
road,
my
or it's going to
God.
shut your car down. It doesn't matter if you're on the highway, you're going 60 miles an hour, it's going to hard stop your car.
God, at some point, it's like Uber has to be easier than this.
Yeah, guys, just get your Uber.
Or
But
don't drink and drive. That's a good rule of thumb too.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
which also means get your Uber. So all roads lead back to Uber, you guys. Shannon Bedore, man, I have to say this too. I think that she has had some little iconic moments this season dealing with the shit that she's had to deal with. I'm not the biggest fan of interactions with Shannon Bedore. I've met her twice and they haven't been so great, but I love her on the show. And watching her, like the time where Alexis Bellino wanted to speak with her, and she goes over and she's like, Alexis, and tells her, like, I don't want to be speaking with you, but Alexis thinks she's coming in for a hug, and she goes like this, and Shannon's like, no, that's not what it is. And then announcing that we're going on a London trip and being like, hello, Alexis, I'm hosting a trip to Europe, and you are not invited. It's like, one, I have to say, like, I love this for Shannon because this is all she has right now in this moment. But two,
Yes.
I'm confused why Alexis is surprised by this.
See, that's the thing is Alexis can't play smart and stupid at the same time. Like that's the other thing. And if you give an olive branch, you have to, which she did at, Shannon's 60th birthday, which is so messed up with the producers. Once Shannon has all her friends there for the 60th birthday, then this flower delivery gets brought in and she has to open the card in front of everybody and it's Alexis. And it's like, womp, womp. And Alexis at the same time, if you give this gift, you hope somebody accepts your apology. But you don't then get completely insanely angry when they don't, because then it means it probably wasn't genuine to begin with. It probably and that's it, is that Alexis, it doesn't come off genuine and she's doing so much. And I don't know if it's because she realizes she's only a friend of and she only has little camera time, but she takes it to like 10 out of 10 every scene. She cries, she screams, she overly laughs. She talks about how she's being persecuted. She talks about ruining Johnny J's reputation and he just wants a quiet life. Yet Johnny J is like suing, releasing press releases, walking red carpets. He did a talking head for the love of God last night. This is a man that wants to be seen. It doesn't seem like and also I will say, just like last night's live show didn't bring up John Jansen really at all. So this guy could just be forgotten if he went away, but the way to be talked about is to have your current girlfriend on the show. None of it makes sense. And I think Alexis thought she was going to come on and get a lot of sympathy for some reason. And I don't think she truly thought it through, because you can tell from her social media, I think she's surprised at the reaction she's getting, or how the season is going for her. And I just dude, this is your only storyline right now, or at least the producers aren't showing really anything else. And yeah, Shannon comes out looking, you really empathize with Shannon, no matter if you like her or don't like her. You have to empathize with that, because if your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend was on the show with a new girlfriend or boyfriend, you would lose your mind. Just that's the reality of that situation.
Unless you're in Vanderpump Rules. But even still, we had Crazy Kristen. So yes, you would lose your mind.
But yeah, we see how that goes. You really your tether to reality completely slips away. And this is they always say Shannon's a professional victim, right? Which I understand why people say that. But this is the first season where I'm like, she kind of is it's starting to feel like she truly is a victim. So much is going her way. She's accepted responsibility for something that she chose to do, which was drunk driving, right? Accepted responsibility. But the John Jansen Alexis stuff is so I would feel so unnecessary and particularly harmful to Shannon. Do I love to watch it? Of course I do. I think it's really fascinating television because we're desensitized to a lot of this stuff. But if I was Shannon, that would push me over the edge.
So, question for you. Just a little bit of Bravo trivia. Guys, almost 500 people in the room. Smash the like button. Show some love.
Woo! Friday.
Do you give me 2 other iconic moments of delivering flowers or an olive branch or anything else in the Bravo world?
Well, I mean, this season alone, you have Dolores giving Teresa the flowers when Teresa was talking with the lawyer with all of the ladies.
Oh,
there,
Margaret.
Remember? Mark,
Yeah.
sorry. But God,
yeah.
It's early over here still, guys. Yeah, you have that. And then why am I blanking? That's an easy one. What's God, there's so many throughout the years. Okay, well, Jax to Stassi at the end of season 1, Vanderpump Rules, when he brings in the dozen roses and he goes, by the way, I did lie. I did knock up that sex worker in Vegas. You were right the whole time. Like at the very end, remember?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say, okay, so I was thinking Adrian Malouf, who literally sent in an actual olive branch to the white party. And I was like, because do you remember how big and just like what a spectacle it was? Like, she's like you see like in Alexis's flowers, which was, they were still pretty, but like a little olive branch. But this woman took an actual like oak tree ass branch. And like, it was like from here to here, probably at least 8 foot long. And she's like, I'm going to have this brought into Villa Blanca. Yeah. Which is
by the way, what happened? Does Lisa Vanderpump, like all those trees that were over at that Pump restaurant that's closed now, did she like dig those up? Like, are those still there? What does she do with the actual trees that are part of the decor at Pump?
Well, they won against the person who was the actual owner of the restaurant, but no, they now I guess they're a part of the restaurant. Their big like smoking gun that they're battling with him over, which he up because Lisa and Ken are messy. And I love Lisa and Ken, but they are not anybody that I would ever want to go to war with because they're messy and they're a team and they stand by each other. They're like Beverly Hills Mafia. And
love you, Lisa and Ken. If you're listening, love you. Big fan.
We love you. And Pandora and Jason, love you. But you just don't mess with them. And they took the liquor license, but no, they couldn't take the trees out. They took the chandeliers out from like the bar and stuff. And people were
able to take the liquor license? I thought those were usually for the actual like site location where you can like get, wow.
No, so there's over 1,000 people who are on a wait list right now in Los Angeles for liquor licenses. And you can repurpose a liquor license. So they took their liquor license with them after the guy who owns the building went out and publicly trashed them. And they were like, oh, okay, you're going to publicly trash us. So then the guy ended up leasing it out to another company because the old manager, Chad, who was in charge of Pump for the longest time, Chad was actually the guy in Vegas who broke up Jax and the other guy's fight. Remember the guy who was with Stassi? So course. Chad was one of the producers. Frank. Chad broke up that argument and that fight, and he was one of the producers, and then he became a bartender at Sir. He didn't want to do it anymore, and then he ended up getting the general manager job at Pump. So after they ended up closing down Pump, the new company coming in wanted to hire Chad as a GM, and it should have opened like almost a year ago. It should have opened a year ago. They only needed a month to kind of revamp and do things. And that's not the case because Lisa and Ken are like, oh, you want to talk about us publicly? We're not giving you the liquor license. And
wild.
This company who wanted the restaurant needs a liquor license. So
wow.
Guys, that's don't let your mouth write a check that your ass can't cash.
Wait, I mean, back to Alexis really quick is like, I think she's doing all of this because she's in hopes of getting a full-time Orange next season, right? Like, and we'll get a John Jansen wedding season. But at this point, like, I don't know, like, obviously I think everybody's going to be like, yeah, no, we don't want Alexis back, but you have to admit, like, it does make certain situations interesting to watch. Do we think Alexis will even be offered a spot next season, or do we think this is just one and done completely?
Well, she did say that she won't come back in another limited role. She won't come back as a friend. Alexis, here's the thing. Alexis has nothing that she's bringing to the show aside from Shannon Bedore. And I don't mean that to be in a mean, negative way. She is very much so the Teddy Mellencamp of OC. It's like, You're beautiful. You have a great life. You're rich, amazing. That doesn't always mean that you make great TV. It's like Maylee Workman on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She's so pretty, but it doesn't, like, you're not making great TV, and
Well,
that's okay. You know?
Well, I mean, I was just thinking though, like, you do this in hopes of getting a full-time spot, and then you can actually share the other things in your life that are not Johnny J.
But she can't.
But Adam, the only thing, and I know this is potentially boring to the audience, when you look at the Bravo same day ratings each night, none of them across the board for like same day viewing are amazing. OC right now is like kind of the top. They're nearing like a 0.69, which isn't great. But if you compare it to Salt Lake, which is like a 0.36, or you compare it to some of the other Bravo shows out there, OC is the top housewife show. And so I wonder if they get scared when they look at the numbers to mess with this formula, which the formula this season is upset Shannon Bedore. Like upset Shannon Bedore. And this is why I would love to know more or talk to more production people to see how they really piece this stuff together. Because in my mind, that's what I'm thinking. Like, we all really dislike Alexis, but it's they want to get us angry. They want to get us talking like this. So maybe that's good, and they will bring her back.
In my mind, listen, you can't have, I never thought Angie Katsunavis would be back. I thought Robin was going to be fired 5 seasons ago from Potomac. Like, there's no way. I didn't think Kiki Barth would be back on Miami. I didn't think Leah McSweeney would get another chance. There are so many times where, like, you just don't actually know. So I don't want to say never. I think, like you said, I wasn't even privy to the fact that the reunion is going to be filmed this Sunday. So thank you for that, Brian. I think a lot obviously rides on that performance at the reunion. I'm curious to see how this goes, and maybe she will come on, and if she does agree to do like some sort of wedding, and she, like, if Alexis was smart, and guys, if she does it, that's because she heard it here. If she was smart at the reunion, she'd be like, and Tamra, by the way, like, if Andy said, guys, do you have anything to say to each other? Like, any last words? If she looked at Tamra and said, Tamra, I want you to be my maid of honor. I want you to be my maid of honor.
Dude,
it would be.
Oh my God. I had Tamra on the podcast for the first time last week, which I was shocked about, by the way. And I said that at the end. I said, Tamra, what if she comes back and she asks you to be a bridesmaid? Because if I was her, I would do that for the show. And she's like, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I'm sorry, that would 100% happen, Adam. You know it would.
I didn't even. Okay, so guys, I am an avid listener of So Bad It's Good. So I missed this. I missed this one. I
put out a lot. Yeah. This was just this past Friday. This was like last Friday.
Okay. So then we're on the same mind track. Like, this is like, what a great way to self-produce.
But by the way, I think the audience realizes that too. Even if we don't like it, even if we think it's gross, you have to think like, okay, what would really pop things off? And like, imagine this. Imagine a bridal shower, like, or a bachelorette party, and then Shannon doesn't get invited, like Alexis doesn't get invited to England. All of these things, I would imagine, as a producer, you're thinking like 10 steps ahead of like, how could this go to this, and how can we activate this? Or you could go the other way, and could you potentially, and you see this a lot on social media, and with Gretchen being at that show last night, and Gretchen and Shannon taking that picture on Instagram this week, Kelly Dodd making really strong comments. All of these people are coming out of the woodwork. And I always think, is this their kind of like audition for the new season of like, I'm still here. I hate Tamra. I'd love to do a takedown season. Like, I also wonder if that's on board. Like, if the producers go, you know what if we did a Tamra takedown season? Or if they legitimately think, how can we highlight these ladies' lives?
If I'm recasting for the Real Housewives of Orange County, guys, I'm giving Heather Dubrow over to Beverly Hills. I think that it makes sense. I think that we're good on Heather Dubrow at this point. I think she adds to the show, but I think that we have something bigger. If I'm Alexis Bellino and I'm getting invited back, I'm going to invite Jennifer Padranti, maybe Katie Janela, and also Tamra to be bridesmaids, maid of honor, whatever, and be throwing these parties. But I want the lawsuit between Jennifer Padranti's fiance, Ryan, and Tamra. So that's conflicting. However, we're not done yet, guys. In place of Heather Dubrow, I want Gretchen to come in as a friend of and be like this nasty sort of whatever she does and like kind of like go against Tamra and everything that she does. But if you guys really want like a big somebody who can handle Tamra, you gotta cue back in Kelly Dodd, because that is somebody who is messy, she does not care, and she will do what everybody is looking for. She will crush it.
Kelly's foaming at the mouth. Like she is. You probably saw this, you guys. She did like a TikTok or an Instagram where she was like, I just spoke to Jim Bellino and we need to do a class action lawsuit against Tamra because she said so many times on the show that I suck D for money. And that's just not true. It's not true. And we all must sue Tamra. Like she was like talking right to the camera. And I was like, oh my God, this is such a mess. And I wonder if in those situations, Tamra is like, oh no, did I do something like, this seems bad for me? Or if she's like, bring it on, let's go.
If she's smart, here, I'm gonna play this for you guys so you know what Ryan's talking about. Hold on, here, I'll cue it right now. Thank you to All About the Real Housewives podcast.
I just got off the phone with Jim Bellino and he on what Tamra did. And then I got a bunch of DMs also saying, she's a liability. Tamra Judge needs to be sued. I need to sue Tamra Judge. Vicky needs to sue Tamra Judge, and Gretchen needs to sue Tamra Judge. We all need to come together and sue her. She said, I suck dick for money on the show, not once, but multiple times. That is not true. It's slander, and it's disgusting that she gets to come and say, I do a sex train and all these things. That is a lie. We all need to come together and file a class action lawsuit against Tamra Judge because they allow her to go and spread rumors. And you know what? We need to take her down. We need to take that evil bitch down.
Wait, like, can you sue for anything? Like Kelly just called Tamra an evil bitch. Can Tamra sue and like, I am not an evil bitch? Like how little can you sue for?
She could, but Tamra has also been on the OC Housewives and said, I'm a bitch. So you can't at that point, like if I called you an evil bitch, you could probably sue me because you've never went on and proclaimed that you are a bitch. So maybe
I've said asshole before about myself. I don't know a bitch, but like
can you imagine that court case? By the way, you're like, no, by the way, I am suing him because I said asshole. I did not say bitch. Your Honor.
Oh my God, that could be huge. This could be huge for both of our shows because we could like call Kelly Dodd to the stand of like, well, just for an example, and play Kelly's video. We get all of the Bravo people there. Tamra has to take the stand, but it's about us. No, I wonder like next season if they're just gonna have a lawyer on set because it's like all of these lawsuits are getting thrown around. The Johnny J lawsuit, Kelly, like we need representation on set, or like somebody like a lawyer needs to travel with each one of these ladies in a scene, and they just need to whisper to their lawyer before they start arguing or right after they argue.
Which I'm surprised. Actually, I was curious. I thought this was going to be a bad moment for Tamra until I heard from Vicky that it was actually a cease and desist and not a lawsuit. Which for Tamra, even hiring Ryan as a power move, hiring Jim Bellino's attorney, that is a power move. That's like okay, well, he won $1 million judgment against you in the past. Shut up. Stop talking about me. And she issued 2 apologies. But at the end of the day, too, for her, the cease and desist, like being like, okay, be quiet. Now you're done. That's like a gift. This is a gift. You're welcome. Because he would probably win this lawsuit against her.
Well, but Adam, well, I was also reading something, and I was reading the original because Ryan Boyajian with the show, the Dodgers guy. I was reading all of those documents. And the thing with the cease and desist, though, if she had a lawsuit, wouldn't that also then have to make him talk about the actual case that she is talking about? So in a sense, cease and desist is that power move because he also then doesn't have to talk about the case because, and he'll have his day in court. There does seem to be some interesting things in those court documents in regards to what was going on. And now Ryan is fully participating in this case. So he is participating, but something is going on. Like something went on. This money, and it's not from Ryan, disappeared. This translator of this baseball player took $15 million out of this guy's account. This is proven. And now, they're just making these accusations. So Ryan will have his day in court to prove that he didn't do the things that they're doing. But ththese are real allegations. Tamara didn't make up the allegations. I don't know if the FBI raid is true or not, but even when I talked to Tamara last Friday, because I just watched that episode, I go, did you really know about this FBI raid? She's like, we all knew about it. It was months before. She said the whole cast knew about it, which was interesting because you also realize these ladies keep so many things private. Like that just came up right then. Cause I was like, did you go into that scene knowing you were going to bring that up, or was it the martini talking? And she was like, it was the martini talking.
Well, all three of them, but yes.
Eddie's sitting there with his like poncho on there, looking like Selena Gomez, just like completely quiet. And he's like, have a good night, everybody. And then he gives Shane like a power hug at the end, and even gives Ryan kind of a light hug. He's like, I guess I have to do this because my wife went hard on you,
And it's so funny too for Eddie, because Eddie is in one of those predicaments where like he knows with twats, OC, everything that's happening in the gyms not lasting after the pandemic, which that is not against them. The gyms were doing fine before the pandemic, and the pandemic killed a lot of businesses. So that's not like oh my God, you guys failed that business. That's just kind of a given. At that time, how would you stay alive? Especially for something like a gym when you weren't supposed to be around other people. But he knows Tamra Judge is easily pulling in over $100,000 a month. She's the breadwinner.
By the way, that's what I don't like. Tamara's not broke. Tamara's doing just fine in terms of financially. Like she's doing really well compared to those other ladies and what they're actually, bringing in themselves, not accounting for their husbands at all. But yeah, she's doing great. So you don't want to mess with that good thing that you've got going and then all of a sudden get these lawsuits thrown against you like you have in the past. But then, it's just these rogues gallery of characters come back. Even Jim Bellino makes a video in his jacuzzi and he's like, listen, life is good, but you gotta release anger, and a old enemy of mine has recently gone against one of my best friends. Like he's talking about Ryan and Tamara, but he's not using those words. And I'm like, even that, which is like kind of LOL and kind of funny, but you're like, dude, you're living the good life. You're in a jacuzzi. Don't wade into the Bravo waters. Just like release it also truly, because we're gonna keep talking about it.
We didn't like you when you were on the show, Jim Bellino, but that's not a bad thing. It's like, it goes back to, anybody who I don't like, I always associate in the Bravo world, unfortunately, and I'm sorry, Teddy, I'm so sorry, but you're like the easiest one to compare the people to. And I'm just like, you are like Jim Bellino, you are Jim Bellino Mellencamp, and just like, go. It's okay. And all you're doing by even that's the way that I feel like I operate too. Like, if I have a disagreement with somebody, if I'm working with somebody, if something doesn't go the way that I was hoping that it would, or something doesn't go the way that I was hoping that it would, and like we just decide to part ways, I don't want to go on social media and say things. I don't want to make a video and be like cryptically like, guys, this person that I was working with and this, it's like, no, we can all read between the lines. We know what's being said. It's now going to be perpetuated out there to the masses. And like, unless you're looking for that, why are you doing it? Especially for somebody like Jim Bellino, who says, if you talk about me in a negative way, be prepared to write a check because I am going to sue the shit out of you.
See, that's what I mean with the show I do, and I think the show you do. It's like I love talking about the mess of all of these shows and things like that, but I don't like my own personal mess. I don't love to talk about stuff like that. That makes my stomach hurt. Like, I don't want to be in fights with people. I even get still like, I mean, when a housewife or a Bravo celebrity gets upset about something you said, you feel bad. Like I always tell people at the beginning of my recaps, if you're a housewife or you work for Bravo, do not listen to this episode. We're here to have a good time. We're here to laugh. I just want to say, because I've heard in the past that sometimes I've hurt people's feelings, but it's not like I don't know these people in real life most of the time, and I try to separate those two things. But yeah, I realize you're real people, but let me talk about it like you are this show. You are these superheroes, and I'm going to talk about it in this certain way. And I don't want to stay away from things that are going to hurt your feelings. It's don't go doom scrolling.
I have 2 points to make here on top to piggyback off of what you're saying.
Let's get the
One,
likes up. I'm reading these comments. Let's go for
I
200 likes. I don't know how this
yeah,
all works.
I'm
Never.
I'm
200
not even
likes.
seeing I can't even see the likes, guys, but yes, smash the like button. Val Porter, I like these boys together. Hey, well, you're gonna see us in person together.
And
We're
somebody in the
we're
comments said you're like so handsome, Adam. And I was like, I agree. And she was
oh,
like,
thanks,
this isn't creepy, but
guys.
said you're very handsome. And I'm like, yeah, like I feel like it's Beauty and the Beast right now. Like it
No,
really is.
okay,
And I gotta tell you,
shut up.
I can't wait to
We're
see Adam's setup in Charleston because you know this guy. It's probably lights everywhere. He probably
it's
looks
not.
like a
It's
troll. It's just
too
all the lighting. There's like a full makeup, full glam squad every time he goes live.
It's not. No, it's not. But I feel like we're doing, guys. I feel like I'm going back to camp with Ryan coming in town because I feel like we're having a slumber party. The good thing
Yeah.
is he's
Oh
gonna
my
be
God.
far.
Let's stay up all night and talk about Gretchen and Alexis. Oh my God.
You're staying in Monica's room.
Oh,
You're staying in Monica's bed. This is gonna be great. You're staying in the same bed as Monica Garcia. This is. Tell me that's. I'm giving you some Bravo nostalgia.
I don't know why that hit my funny bone, but to sleep in the same bed as Reality Baptiste.
No, that's. It's happening. It's all happening. It's all happening, guys. But also on top of that, God, fuck, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Damn it! I was just gonna say the slumber party, but then I had another point to make. But now I'm completely unhinged on this. But for Shannon and Tamra, I hope that she is smart enough to take the cease and desist for what it is and back off. You shouldn't.
She did back off. She sent out she did the video where she's like, listen, I said something on Watch What Happens Live. I didn't mean it. And then she like wrote something. So it seems like she's backed off, but what an interesting play for Ryan to do right before the reunion, right? So now Tamra is kind of muzzled at this reunion in terms of the Ryan thing. So I wonder if that throws Tamra off her game.
She might fuck up because Tamra is somebody who is very much in the moment. Tamra is going to medicate herself at this reunion. She is very much so, in my opinion, and this is my opinion. This is not like I'm not claiming that this is a fact, but I feel like Tamra feels her best performances are very induced performances, like sort of where Brandi Glanville started out and got to a point where she couldn't film a scene without really just like taking on the bottle. And it's unfortunate, but I think that Tamra feels like she is rewarded for this bad behavior. And if she messes up and in her glam and in between takes, and if they're smart enough, if Bravo leaves the lawsuit, all of that to the end of the reunion, and she sits there and they give her breaks and she's in there having cocktails, she might actually mess up and say something. It's still possible.
Well, I'm wondering how much they'll be able to even get into it. But as we know, and Tamara even said, she was like, yeah, we get more into the FBI thing in these last couple of episodes. And remember, they picked back up cameras at the end of the season just for this because the charges actually get filed. So it really gives credence to what Tamara was saying that night. But Tamara then, of course, as always, takes it a step too far. And we see her in the preview wearing an FBI hat, which is just like, oh, dude. But this is what I said on the show. I said, Tamara needs to go into this reunion. And if I were her, I would try to throw everybody for a loop because they're going to want to activate her, right? They're going to want her to slip up and go buck wild. Tamara needs to go against all of her natural impulses and be completely calm. Like, just throw them off completely because that will throw off these others on their game. Like, I feel like I'm giving free advice because I want to see Tamara go off. But if she was smart, she would completely do a 180 and just be very non-activated Tamara and just listen and go, yes, that's a very interesting point. Yes. Well, this is where, like just very subtle.
And if she was smart too, and I'm just always thinking about business. So I'm getting ready to launch a company called Blow. It's CBD. So guys, if you want to do Blow with me, you can do Blow. This is yes, Ryan. We are all doing the Blow, but
is this real? I'm still sleeping.
No, wake up. It's happening.
Wait, why? I love how I do a podcast. I love you're like, I'm in real estate. I've got a CBD line. I've got Like, I'm like, I barely put out a podcast every day.
Well,
Which, by the way, wait, I do want to. Also, last night I got to meet. I met her a couple times. Bravo Breaking News. She's great. She's on this show a
Kim.
lot too. She was there last night as well, and she said, she's like, oh, she goes, you're going to be on Up and Adam Live tomorrow. I go, oh God, thank you for reminding me. Like, I was like, I got to go home now. Like, it was no, but it was great. She's awesome.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks. I appreciate that. What I was going to say is, as like a business, somebody who getting ready to launch a business, I think it would be so smart for her to go. CBD is supposed to calm you down and get you like relaxed and chilled and whatever. She should go in with like a little silver platter of Vina CBD when they film you as you're getting ready, and go around to the women and be like, hey girls, I know that today is going to be like harsh. So if you just want to chill out, take Vina CBD. Like there are, it's just like Vicky with the Kodo insurance at the end of the show. It's like, there's opportunity here. There's opportunity.
But for those of you guys plugged in, like, this is how reunions usually work. If they're filming on Sunday, we'll get that Instagram story from Andy Cohen going, we're here on the OC set. Very big day. Very exciting. Shannon, are you ready? And he'll tilt the camera to Shannon and she'll be nervous. And then 6 hours later, we'll get the Andy Cohen post of still here. And then 3 hours after that, you'll see where all the ladies have diverted to wherever they're celebrating afterwards. So I'm sure somebody will go to the like Polo Lounge, like a couple of the ladies. Heather Dubrow will probably do Polo Lounge. Like, they'll all split up and you'll be able to see who the teams were, and you'll get your first kind of like who's smiling the hardest, and you'll be able to tell who's won the reunion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, speaking of which, there was something that I wanted to ask you about, since we were talking about lawsuits and everything, and we're done talking about this one's lawsuits and all of that. So let's bring this over to the fact that, hey guys, happy October. If you're an avid Hulu watcher, happy Huluween, happy almost Halloween, happy Ryan coming to stay in the bed of reality Bontis. And then also, happy oral arguments to Leah McSweeney and Andy Cohen.
Oh, yeah.
Dots.
This is what, by the way, Maritza, who works with me, she sent me your video early this morning, like when I was waking up, and she was like, oh my God, I didn't know this, because you just made a video about it, I think. And I had no, like, so this is
Who's
moving forward
Maritza?
because, what's that?
Who's
Maritza.
Maritza?
She makes all my my images, like for the show images. She
Oh.
also has a new podcast called Love is Latino, which recaps Love is Blind Mexico. And,
nice.
you know, with the Latina flair, and she's amazing. It's her first like podcast herself, but she's been doing all my show images, and she'll upload the YouTube videos, and she's just a genius and amazing. But yeah, she loves you, and she was sending me that.
Love is Latino. Okay, guys, check it out.
Where are we at with this? Because like, I know Brandy Glanville like tweeted and deleted the other day that her lawyers don't want to work with her anymore, but Brandy Glanville's is moving forward towards Andy.
I didn't hear that.
Wait, no, sorry, Leah McSweeney.
Oh yeah, Leah McSweeney's. Yeah. So Brandy's attorneys apparently dropped her, which I kind of felt like was going to be coming. Only because it's like you're saying that he was inappropriate with you when she is the queen of being inappropriate. You also have Marco from Ultimate Girls Trip, Ex-Wives Club Season 2 at Dorinda's house, Bluestone Manor. You're ripping off his shirt. You're being inappropriate with him. You're kissing people. You're touching people. You're being overly sexual with people. But then you're claiming that now all of a sudden you're offended when somebody does it with you. I didn't think that this lawsuit was going to last for Brandy. And lo and behold,
yeah, but Adam, I look at it two ways though, because like, first off, I didn't agree with the lawsuit in the first place. I thought it was like this weird grab for money, and it just made me sad for Brandy in a lot of ways, because I realize she's at like between a rock and a hard place, because I feel like she depends on these shows for some sort of income. I always hate when housewives depend on it, because you want people that can take care of themselves without the show. So I understood it, but I just didn't agree with it knowing Brandy's previous behavior. But these lawyers, I mean, it kind of seems scummy on these lawyers' part too, because the lawyers she made it seem like they came to her and said, we can represent you, we can get you big money, we want you to join, because it's the same lawyers that represent Bethany in the Reality Reckoning. So they like added her into the fold, and I think it's really then scummy all of a sudden, like they didn't do their due diligence. They got her hopes up, even though I don't believe in her lawsuit. It just like, it must be like the floor is continually pulled out on her. Also, I remember one more thing. Vicky last night in the live show said, oh, Caroline, like because she filmed there and Gretchen filmed the Morocco season as well. So there were a couple questions about the Morocco season that we'll never see. And Vicky goes, Caroline liked it in regards to Brandy's advances.
Vicky, you better shut up, girl. Cuddle Insurance might be the brownstone insurance. You keep going. But no, I like Nene Leakes obviously got pulled, right? And we don't know if they settled. We don't know what happened. Obviously, she just hosted the Emmys.
The E after
which is
party
still
for the
under
Emmys.
it's still under the NBC umbrella. So something must have happened. I feel like they came to a decision. She's been incredibly quiet when it comes to Bravo and NBC. She doesn't bash them anymore. She's not like going on these rants. I feel like there was a settlement and there was some sort of negotiation. Okay, not to court. Brandy thrown out. Like the lawyers are not dealing with it. So if she wants other representation, she has to go find other representation, which is also incredibly hard when you're finding representation pro bono, meaning, if you guys aren't familiar, that the attorneys think that your case is so solid that they're going to take it on for free. And then they're just going to take a higher percentage of the earnings. So normally if you do a pro bono lawsuit, the attorneys are taking 55%, you're getting 45%. But the great thing is you don't get taxed on it. How do I know? Don't ask. But from that point, then you have Leah McSweeney, and she is fully moving forward. And not only is she moving forward, but the judge actually granted her and her team the rights to be able to go through Andy Cohen's private messages and emails, like for discovery, which is crazy.
Oh, I see. I don't know enough about the legal system. I'm learning more. It's like, by the way, I always joke. I'm like, like covering Bravo. I have to actually learn more about the I've learned more about the legal system in the last 4 years than the previous like decades. But I don't understand that. Like, so they can just literally go through anything they want on Andy Cohen's phone. Like that seems a little invasive in a way. There has to be some kind of restrictions on that. Like they can literally open up anybody, like they can open up Anderson Cooper's text exchanges with Andy Cohen, and that can, like, that seems, I don't know. No, if that doesn't seem right.
Right. I think that this would totally be a bigger and better question for Emily D. Baker, obviously.
Which, but yeah, I said that. Yeah, I am due for Emily D. Baker to come back on this show. And I know she's like insanely busy and all that, but there is so much going on legally, and it's jumped from Bravo to like, other pop culture people and stories. Like Garth Brooks just got sued yesterday. Like all of these things are happening, but I just don't understand when it gets that discovery process, how you have to legally give over all of your emails and text exchanges.
I think that it's one. I also find it to be, it's almost like, and she's saying this without it's not like she's delivering proof, but the reason that they're letting, from my understanding, the reason that the judge is letting her team go into discovery in Andy's private messages is because of the allegations. So him doing that being accused of doing that with other housewives. Sorry, guys, I'm not going to get demonetized by YouTube for saying the C word.
But also check out Adam's new CBD blow, and that there's a crossover there. That's right. That's what your CBD is, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't a good plug. That was like I
thought that was okay. Sorry.
What is that?
Me trying to be cool.
Okay. Guys, we're gonna work on Ryan when he comes in October and he stays in the Reality Monte's bed. So back to it though. No, I don't know what would be. I would imagine, and from my understanding, it's the fact that she made these allegations and the judge was like, okay, I want to see if these are true. So yes, his private emails and text messages are subject for discovery. I have no idea.
Dude, that would be that's like watching a Bravo show. Like, I hate that it's happening, but my God, that lucky judge. I would love to read through Andy's text messages. Are you kidding me? That would be so fun.
What if what if me and Tamara got into a fight, and we've gotten into like at least 3, but like, what if we got into a fight and now I love Tamara and we're friends, but like, what if we got into a fight and I said, guys, I'm suing her, and also, by the way, she does with people. Like, what if I actually accused her, which is not true? Let me just say, she does not that I know of, not true. If I said that, and then I hired an attorney, and the attorney like brings it to the judge, and the judge is like, you know what? even if you don't have proof, we are going to take this housewives emails and text messages and go through them. And this is going to be a big, like it's all for discovery and it's all open. It's subject to investigation. How the hell is that fair? That sounds like wild to me. That can't even be a real thing.
Yeah, it sounds so wild. And even just like the little reading I've done about the Leah McSweeney case, the thing that still confuses me is that she went back for that second season. They, like it was the grandma passing away and they felt like, she was rushed or she didn't get proper time and she was dealing with, mental health issues as well. But then the part where it gets wonky for me is that she did Ultimate Girls Trip and she got paid 6 figures for that. But if that issue happened on that second season,
250.
why do you ever go and do another season? Like, why do you, if that happened right then, your lawsuit should have been after that second season and you should have never accepted the money for an Ultimate Girls Trip. In my
Ryan,
mind,
I have to say, Liam McSweeney, I find to be a complete moron. And I'm being really kind about this. I find and I'm not some crazy combative person, guys. I'm really not, but I can sit there and I can read between the lines. And I also I feel like there's black, white. I'm not really like a gray area kind of person. She built Married to the Mob off of a lawsuit that she had, right? And she
she talked about it on the show with the police.
And she had a big settlement. That is how she built her business. Now, this lawsuit, she is accusing Bravo of knowing that she is a known alcoholic and she struggles with that. And this also classifies as mental health issues. And it is a disease. Alcoholism is a disease. And she accuses Bravo of knowing of this disease that she has and still putting her in situations and scenarios where there is alcohol around. Now, Leah McSweeney, sorry, babe, you joined on season 13, or season 12. I'm sorry, you joined on season 12. There was 11 seasons before that. You know that the women drink. You know there's alcohol around. And if it's so triggering, which it could be, and I don't want to mock anybody with the disease, then let me ask, if I were the person who was going up against you and I was trying to fight on the other side of this, I'd be like, so do you not walk into a restaurant? Do you not see a bar in a restaurant? If you go to your friend's house, do your friends hide all of the alcohol bottles? Do you go to parties? If you go to parties, do they hide all of the alcohol bottles? That is not up to them. That's up to you. And then she said, well, also they scheduled me to film at a time that I was supposed to be going to AA. Here's another thing. What if you work at the Cheesecake Factory and your shift is from 9 to 4? Your only AA meeting that you could get into was at 2 o'clock. Is Cheesecake Factory or Outback Steakhouse or Ruby Tuesdays, are they going to let you out to go to the AA meeting and then come back and somebody's going to cover your tables? No, it's a job. It's a job.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's this lack of personal responsibility. It's like, taking no accountability for yourself and your own actions, because these people truly want to be on the show. They are desperate to get on the show. And then once the show doesn't go the way they want it to go, then it always feels like their hands come out for some reason because they don't like how they're being portrayed. But I would imagine, like you said, we are almost 2 decades into Real Housewives of Orange County. At this time, you have ample evidence of what these shows are about. Right. You know what these shows are about. You know what the fandom is like. If you go on into if you even just do a cursory search, you would get up to date and up to speed really quickly with what you're potentially signing up for.
Well, and I even said this the other day too. I was talking to Ashley from Taste of Reality, and I said the difference is now, you can't be a housewife and join the Housewives and not know. It's I feel like that would be as hard as trying to find somebody for this Diddy jury. How are you going to find somebody to go on a jury who doesn't know who P. Diddy is? It's almost impossible. And for women who want to be a part of this show, you know what it is. You study it. You know who you want to be like. Do you want to be a villain? Do you want to be a victim?
Yes.
Do you want to be the nice one? You want to be Switzerland? You want to be Dolores, or you want to be Jen Shaw? You want to go to prison? You don't want to go to prison. You want to flip tables? No? Okay.
Well, that's why I think we all long for those earlier seasons, which will never be able to happen again, because it was before it was before social media took hold the way it did. It was before these ladies could realize they could be full on celebrities. So that's why those are kind of so pure and untainted, because it was before any of all of the ecosystem of Housewives. I always compare it to like Saturday Night Live or something. It's like, oh, you got all these people auditioning to get on the show, and then they want to stay on the show, or can we get a career after the show? Like, it becomes this weird kind of celebrity status, as opposed to what it started off was like, let's look at these ladies' lives that are well-to-do ladies behind a gated community and see how we have commonalities and differences with them. It's become something completely different. And I'm not saying I dislike what it's become, but it's so different from how it started.
It's so different. And speaking of that, and something that's going to be different this season, I think that this is a great segue, you guys. Obviously, we know, well, one of you guys are watching the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. They are now about to start filming season 2. So if you guys are excited about that, that's amazing. But then also going over here to the Valley, we know that it's going to look a little bit different this season. And I'll leave it up to Mr. Jax Taylor, who, guys, he is somebody I've known for the last 11 years. Somebody I obviously don't get along with. I got a cigarette thrown in my face. We've had these conversations. I don't think he's necessarily the friendliest guy, but I never thought he was the brightest guy either. And his recent court documents that came out proved exactly that. So he ended up filling out the paperwork, talking about custody over their son, Cruz. And by the way, I want to give him credit. Brittany has always said he is a shitty husband, but also an amazing father. So I don't want to take anything away from that. And I also don't want to diss him, or you're also talking about a child. So I want to be very respectful on that. He filled out the paperwork like a moron. Am I surprised? No. He filled out the date of separation as before the date of actually being together. He also said he wasn't married, but he was married. Lance Bass is the one who officiated the marriage. And there were a few other little flubs in this. But with that, Ryan, the Valley, like, how are you feeling?
I'm obviously excited. And my thought was like, man, they should have filmed season 2 and 3 concurrently, back to back, because who knows how long we're going to have to wait for Vanderpump Rules to figure their crap out. But this is the part where it bums me out, because we know they wrapped filming on the Valley like over, I think, a month ago. And so we know now that Jax is filled out this paperwork wrong. We see all of these things happening that are after cameras are down. So I kind of like, oh man, I wish they were still filming so we could see. Like, that's the thing, is social media now will always beat the show. Like, we'll always kind of know what's really happening in their real lives. So it takes some of the mystery and allure out of the season itself. But I'm predicting a very girl power season, because I think a lot of the people on that cast watch Vanderpump Rules and the reaction. And I think they are very cognizant of the fact that Sheena and Lala took a lot of heat for potentially not supporting Ariana. So I think you are going to see all of the support for Brittany, which, by the way, I think she deserves. I think that's the only correct answer here, because Jax obviously has done really horrible things throughout, but obviously in this last interim period, something really bad happened. So I'm excited to see all that unfold. I'm interested to see how they use Jax's rehab/mental health stay. Like, I'm hoping that they didn't film any of that. I'm hoping that was a real process that they're not going to try to monetize, and just film him before going in and then after coming out. But who knows? So I'm really interested to see how they piece it all together. The Lally situation will be interesting to see. I mean, I have nothing but high hopes. And we do know Sheena and Lala filmed a lot more this season than they did the first season. I'm interested to see how that's integrated. This Sheena is the hardest working person in show business. Like, she just flew to Salt Lake this week to get a hairdo by Jesse from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. This girl is pounding the pavement. She was just in New York yesterday. Like, this girl is everywhere. And I recently rewatched season 1 of Vanderpump. She's always been this way, but she's going to make sure she's got some sort of job at all times.
Well, but also, how could you not? Like, you have $1 million home in Palm Springs. You have a $3 million home, or 2.75, whatever it is, in the Valley. And then all of a sudden, her and Lala buy these $2-3 million homes in the Valley. And then boom, Vanderpump Rules gets put on hold. Like, that's a big deal. That's a big mortgage. So for those of you guys who don't usually, like, it depends how much money you put down on a house, but the rule of thumb usually is about $1,000 per $100,000. That's your mortgage. So if you buy, think about it, you buy $1 million home, you're probably, say you put $250,000 down, you're looking at about $8,500 a month in a mortgage. That's a lot of money. And then take that and times it by 3 because you have a $3 million home. Somebody's got to work and do the deed. And you also know that she is supporting, not only does Sheena support, I think she pays her sister to do her social media. She has her daughter. I think that she helps her parents, but I'm not sure of that. But then also I know that
she's very generous. So I'm sure she helps all of her family.
if
Not
I
pay
were
for
her, I
everything,
would
but
be
I'm sure
working
she
on
does that.
everything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I love Sheena. Like she has to. How could she not be working? Like you have to. She's a hustler.
But I will say, and not in Brock's defense, because people are like, "Oh, well, Brock doesn't have a job." But man, I sometimes will watch his videos and like all the work he's doing by himself on the home, and I'm like, that's pretty. Like the guy's pretty handy. Like I can't do any of that crap. The guy's making all these he's paving the driveway. I'm just like, what are you? Wow, like that's built. Sheena married somebody that can do all that stuff. Good for her.
I think it'll result into something for him, though. I'm hoping it does, like whether it's HGTV or something like that. I think that Brock is such a lovable guy, too. He's such a, the guy's a sweetheart, but he's really great with the camera.
I remember I was on Jeff Lewis's radio show one week, and they had just the night before he had met Brock for the first time at some party, and they were talking about potentially working on something because they were talking about all the home renovations and things like that. And I was like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Brock could do that, or Brock could help with some kind of thing that you're doing on a house.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe we'll see him on Hollywood House Lift.
Well, no, that's Freebie got sunsetted. They're not doing Freebie anymore. So they're not doing a third season of Hollywood House Lift, but I know they're in talks. I mean, I don't know what, but I think there's another show on the horizon, but I'm not
Bravo
sure what
just
that
needs
is.
to bring him back. He was so
right.
great.
They just revamp Flipping Out. And he's got such a cast of characters around him at all times, especially with that radio show. I was just like, God, this is a show. Even in the in-between stuff and the before when you get there for coffee and afterwards, there's a whole ecosystem there that I'm like, God, this would make really funny reality television. And there's always something or someone mad at him. By the way, at the end of OC last night, they brought up Jeff's name for the previews for next week. They get because Shannon said something on Jeff Lewis. Roni, we had a fight about Jeff Lewis this week. We know later in Roni this season, there's another fight about Jeff Lewis. And I'm like, everybody's fighting about you on these shows. Why not just do another show on Bravo? I would love that.
And the way that they should do it too, if they want to revamp it, they should do it in a very Keeping Up with the Kardashians, transitioning into the Kardashians on Hulu, where it's behind the scenes. Show him on the radio show. Show what he's doing. Show not just the upfront and everything that he's doing with the remodeling of the homes, but also his real life. I think that it would be amazing. Jessica,
dude,
Trapp,
he went to We Care. Please don't.
No, it would be good.
He went to We Care, this detox facility a couple months ago with Shannon Bedore and Beverly D'Angelo, who's the mom from the vacation movies, and detox for 3 days with Shannon Bedore, and they did a radio show from there, and it was hysterical. But I'm like, just his people he hangs out with, even in the office, that would have been a hysterical episode.
Yeah, I'm actually all about bringing him on. Especially back to Bravo. And I agree with him. I love when he gives Andy Cohen shit and he's like, you fired me. And Andy's like, okay, well, can we not do this right now? And he's like, you don't want to do it right now?
They have people seem to feel they have such a long relationship. They have a friendship now for close to 20 years. So it's been they've known each other on the coming up from where they've all come up from. So it is interesting now. They're both very successful guys, and they're able to give each other shit. I like that though, because not a lot of people give Andy shit, and Jeff continually needles him, which I enjoy.
Jeff's like, I don't care. Okay.
Yeah, but it's once you get to know, I don't know. People have a lot of opinions about Jeff, but
I love Jeff, by the way, guys.
I love Jeff makes fun of me, and I love when he makes fun of me. It makes me laugh. He's really good at it. And that's I think one of his weird love languages is making fun of people to their face usually. So I don't know.
You definitely can't be a softie with Jeff Lewis, because then you might get your feelings hurt. But I think what Ryan's saying is, if you start to understand that it's really just it's a language for him, just being silly, but also like he likes to pick on you. But also, I think if he didn't give a shit, then you wouldn't even get the time of like he wouldn't give you the time of day. I think that's when you know he likes you is when he's playing with you in that way. It's like the fun banter. It's his banter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
He made,
all right,
he made
guys.
fun of my theater. He made fun of my theater degree because I went to college for theater, and he made fun of that. He makes fun of how like no, it's I don't know. I like getting roasted by Jeff. It's an honor.
You're like he made fun of my theater degree, so
yeah, he makes fun of my car. He makes fun of
yeah. He makes fun of your car too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do drive a shitty Toyota Corolla, like, but I don't really go anywhere, so it's like you keep the overhead low.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Relax, Jeff. Guys, with that, normally you guys know we last about an hour, but if you guys are not familiar, then Ryan's going to tell you where you can check him out. So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. Ryan.
Well, yeah, there's the Shannon Bedore video from last night. That's when she was talking about the Joel Kim booster of it all.
Where?
On the fourth slide down.
Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah. But yeah, the show's So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey, interviews with pop culture people, pop culture stories, but also tons of Bravo. Just released the Salt Lake City recap today with pop culture stories. Tomorrow will be the Real Housewives of Orange County recap, which was a insanely decent episode, so I can't wait to yell about it. We have a Patreon where we just covered the entire first season of Vanderpump Rules. We did a 2-hour Q&A last week, so there's plenty of me everywhere. And this YouTube channel that I have, go subscribe. We put up full recaps on there. We don't make these little amazing little segmented videos like Adam does, but we'll put sometimes most of the show up there. Not all of the show, but most of the show. So go support that if you can. But you, Adam, the Adam audience, you guys are the best. You're always the best. So thank you.
There we go, guys. So definitely go make sure you subscribe. If you're watching the video or if you're a part of the replay crew, also smash the like button. It's free, guys. Subscribing is so free. There's nothing more free. You literally just click a button. Ryan gets to make more content. You guys get to keep all of the information coming, and that's what you want to do. So definitely just go support. We're all like a moving train, all of us content creators who are talking about Bravo, whether we're bloggers, we're the ones writing the articles, or the ones who are covering it on YouTube or podcast. But we're all working together, and we all like tap into one another in order to get this stuff out.
It's crazy that we get to do this. It's legitimately crazy. Like I look up to Adam because Adam like knows how to do it right. Like I'm always like just sloppy and disorganized. Adam's always like clean. Like this is like not good cop, bad cop, but there's like an odd couple thing here. But Adam is somebody that I think a lot of us look up to because of how he presents his material, keeps it professional, and has built such a great audience. And, I don't know, there's not enough good things you can say about Adam. So thanks for having me here on, as always, Adam. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to sleep in Monica's bed in Charleston. Woo!
I was going to say something, but all right, guys.
You can say.
All right, guys. Love you. We'll see you later. Smash the like button. Show some love. Bye.